All right, quick sound check. Let's see if you guys can hear me. Forgot I had the microphone muted there for a second. All right. All right, I heard myself on my test one. You guys should be good. Pattern trader, you like seconds earlier, I guess you would have beat him to it. And Josh, congratulations. I'll reach out to you first thing tomorrow or later on tonight um, for the redemption of the mentoring. Take it here. Yeah. Well, I was actually talking for a minute before I realized that you guys couldn't hear me because I had muted it. Yeah, I was like, wait, why is this not? Oh, wait a second. The microphone is red. It's one of those days. I'm still not fully caught up. And then today was crazy. My kids have been off school for the last 2 days, so like my productivity level is between being jet lagged and dealing with the kids. It's been just, yeah, it's been fun to say the least. Yeah, super fun. Super fun. All right, so let's just dive into this today. We'll see how long my voice holds up. Again, with traveling, obviously got a little bit of a head cold, but we'll see. Overall today, again, we saw really we saw the pound kind of increase, further again. 82 on the pound dollar and 91 on the pound yen, which is both great. Again, still continuing to have that pound strength come in. As you can see, the CPI number was actually low this morning, right? You guys can see down here, it was actually came in at 1.7 versus 1.8. So again, good for the price of the currency. And you can see CAD actually also came in actually with a red this morning. Their CPI number is actually a bit lower than expected as well. And you guys can see the dollar CAD really didn't do too much. Again, like I said, I think it was kind of buffeted by what was going on with the U.S. dollar today. Again, retail sales numbers came in not great at all. They were supposed to be positive, and they both numbers, both core as well as retail, both came in negative. So not the best morning for the U.S., right? As you can see, though, overall, again, the dollar weekend on the euro, 51, it's 51 up. Again, the pound, you can see the dollar yen basically absolutely flat, nothing. Kind of stuck in a holding pattern, really not doing much. Dollar Swiss, again, down, 45, which again, not unexpected, with bad dollar news like that. Dollar CAD down slightly. Again, really, it's kind of, not doing too much. Again, those two numbers kind of canceled each other out. And then Aussie dollar, obviously up. Aussie yen up. Both those were right around their ATR for the day anyway. So, again, not a horrible day. Like I said, I mean, there's definitely some, a little bit of movement. Again, like I said, the pound train is still definitely to the upside. I don't think anything. I don't think anything been definitive yet. Yeah, no Brexit deal tonight as talks go down to the wire. A government source has told me there will not be a deal tonight. And then again, you get this guy going, "Oh, we're pretty far apart." It's so close, but it all could go belly up. So, like, I mean, again, once again, they really have absolutely no idea. Again, another one here, just days before the European Council summit. It's like, okay. So, again, nothing's really been decided today. Again, we're still waiting. Again, everything has so far been in the pound's favor. We'll see where we can go with it. And again, we'll look at some of the charts. And it's an interesting situation. One of the things that I mentioned earlier this week, and I want to make sure that I kind of just double back on it, is again, remember, something as big as Brexit is slightly different than other news releases. It is absolutely a huge fundamental change, and it doesn't just affect them; it affects basically the entire world. So a little bit different, right? You got to treat it. It's a different animal, and if you don't treat it differently, you're going to get burned with it, and that's just the way that it is. Okay, so we will look at the charts and kind of see where it's you know. Oops, hold on, let me change the sound here. There we go. All right. So with that being said, let's dive over to the scanner. Actually, before we do that, let's go into tomorrow. So tomorrow morning we're starting off early with retail sales. Obviously today was dismal sales with the dollar. Tomorrow we'll see what the pound numbers. They're already picked to be negative. Let's see how negative they can actually be. Followed by 8:30 we have Philly Fed, and then at 11 we have crude oil. So crude oil, again, it's been a story for the last month of nothing but surplus. Again, it's picked to be they finally have had the forecast catch up to the actual. The actual has been anywhere between 2.5 and 3 for the last, obviously, 3 weeks. They're finally catching up. So let's see if this is the week that they finally miss and maybe it's negative. I mean, we'll see how it turns out. But again, that'll be at 11 a.m. tomorrow, so it's a little bit different time. I will pull an oil chart up at the very end, and we'll kind of see, what we can see. See if there's anything that's just, glaring, kind of sticking out. I'm not going to go into a full analysis, but again, we'll kind of look at it and see, an upper level, kind of what we're looking at. All right. And then again, really nothing throughout the rest of the day. These guys, when you have Bowman, Williams, Evans speaking, there's not really, I'm not really super worried about what they have to say. They're not considered the big mover of the FOMC, but again, something could always happen, but I don't think that it's going to be anything super crazy. But that's going into tomorrow. So with that being said, let's go dive into the scanner. So right now, right, I'll just put this down here so you guys can see it. All right, so right now, looking at the majors basket, you can see a lot of stuff is going sideways, with an upward bias, right? And this is basically all the U.S. pairs that were more or less in a negative kind of position today. You can see that two of them are in confirmed position, the Aussie as well as the pound. Versus the dollar, meaning basically as soon as we get any type of consistent pullback here, we're going to be in an uptrend setup situation again. So we want to make sure we're not running into any upper level zones, and we'll see if there is anything in those charts. Also, you can see that the dollar yen is an uptrend setup, meaning obviously it is pulling back right now. It was trending forward and it's pulling back again. Dollar weakness, that's why we have that one. Dollar CAD, same thing, more dollar weakness. It's obviously pulling back up. It is a green candle right now, so we're looking for sell orders there. And then you can see dollar Swiss, we are in an anchor break situation. Obviously, again, dollar weakness, it's heading to the downside. Looking across over into the euro basket, okay, that's the first one over here. You can see euro CAD is actually going up right now, right? Again, it's a downtrend anchor break, so it's heading on to the top side, and you can see everything else is more or less sideways, upward biased, or kind of looking for pullbacks. The only thing, obviously, that it is negative right there is euro pound, and again, pound strength is kind of we're kind of in I guess king pound is we talk about king dollar. It's definitely the king pound right now. I know they have a queen. Doesn't make sense when I say king, but they had some kings there before. But yeah, it's we can say it's the queen pound right now. But yeah, it's definitely that's the only pair that's got the euro kind of in somewhat of a spin. And you can see across the board, pretty much everything is sideways, somewhat of an upward bias. Which again, it's very interesting when you think about it, right? The pound leaving is obviously a big deal, right? But the pound is rising, but yet the euro is also rising. Okay, it says a lot, right? A lot of people are finally in agreement this is a good thing. And again, I think it's a good thing on many different fronts there. So we'll see how it kind of how it all shakes out at the very, very end, right? Looking at the pound basket, that's next, and that's over here, kind of in this middle, this middle kind of a box of the scanner. You can see we have uptrend setups in pound Aussie, pound Swiss, and pound New Zealand. We don't cover all three of those pairs in chart school because we just don't have time. But again, we do have setups in all those pairs, so we should be looking for areas where it could come back to, but potentially go higher, right? Looking for areas of buyers, as well as pound dollar, pound CAD, as well as pound yen are all sideways upward bias confirmed, meaning that they are definitely rallying higher. They are all in the green right now. They are continuing to push higher. And again, we are looking for somewhat of a pullback. Okay, so we're looking for kind of levels of basing or wick over wicks to be established right now. And that's where we're going to be looking for future areas to go long. Okay, unless we're running into an upper level supply zone, but we'll see. Now, looking at Aussie. Okay, Aussie is giving us kind of a similar pattern. You're seeing Aussie yen, Aussie New Zealand, sideways up confirmed, basically meaning that, again, we are looking for some type of a pullback to jump onto this train. You're seeing sideways up and sideways up on Aussie Swiss as well as Aussie dollar. Okay, we'll cover the Aussie dollar. We're not going to cover the Aussie Swiss, but again, the setup is the same. And then Aussie CAD, we actually have a downtrend setup. Okay, meaning that, again, we are in a downtrend with the Aussie, and we're seeing a green candle right now. Okay, we're seeing that pullback. Oh, excuse me. And then last not least, the CAD basket, right? So the CAD basket is kind of all over the place, right? Because again, the CAD is typically the secondary pair minus the CAD yen and the CAD Swiss, where they were both. One of them sideways with an uptrend, the other one, is sideways with an upward bias, and then the other one is an anchor break to the downside. And then we're seeing kind of reverse signals the other side. Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, dollar CAD, all downtrend setup, meaning it's a downtrend and it's pulling back with a little bit of CAD strength right now. So CAD right now, I'd probably say is probably I don't want to say weakest because I don't want you to think that it's necessarily bearish, but what I'm saying is it's weakest in the sense that it is the least influential right now. Okay, it is not really, there are some pairs where it's up, there's some pairs where it's down, but there's not a predominant kind of up or down strength or weakness really across the board. Okay, it is just it's inconsequential at this point right now. There's just not enough stuff going on with it. Although it will be interesting. I did get a lesson into Canadian politics tonight. With their elections coming up, my wife got her absentee ballot today because she lives in the States, obviously, but she can still vote in the Canadian election. So it's kind of interesting how they do it up there. It's definitely different, and I guess there are pros and cons to the system, but
yeah, little different. But again, that's coming up, and that will also start um, kind of messing with their currency a bit too, depending on who's in charge. It's going to affect their economy and
some of the decisions and things that are being made up there. All right. So with that being said, that's where we are currently on the scanner. So what we'll do is now we will jump over and look at the charts. All right, so we're going to start off with the Aussie yen. Okay, that's the first one in our scan, inside of our workspace. So in this case, last night, again, we can see, we're right here. Okay, if you guys look in the upper right-hand chart, you can see this is, time is 19, right? Looking back to last night at the same time, we were sitting right here. So we talked about this. We would have liked to get a little bit lower. It really went down to the same kind of spike place, same area where it spiked before. It did go just slightly lower, right? Because here's where we are right now at 21. And when we go back, where are we at? 21 is in this area right in here. Okay, so again, we'd hit that profit target last night in this one, and it did go slightly lower, right? It drove into this little zone, right? This little basing zone right below or right above the blue kind of demand zone, and just pushed all the way back up again. Okay, so interesting place where we are now. Okay, we are again looking at this on the daily at the macro level. We are sideways up confirmed, right? We have pushed past the anchor, but here's the problem. We are sitting in an area of sellers. Okay, the last time the price was here, it was pushed back down for 3 days straight. So, it is very, very strong right now, but that doesn't mean that we're going to stay that way. We're going to have to see what it's going to do, right? And again, there was a little bit of news tonight, but not really a ton. The unemployment rate obviously is what this is reacting to. It's the 830 figure. The employment change basically was non-consequential, but we did have a drop of 0.2. I'm sorry, 0.1 this time. It was not a 0.2 drop. It would have been really funny if it was. I talked about that the dollar did, the Canadian dollar did, but I don't know that this one's going to go down 0.2. It went down 0.1, and again, that's why you're seeing the burst. But with that being said, it is bursting straight up, so we are in a parabolic retracement situation. It is going right into a 4-hour as well as it's kind of a daily, but it's more of a 4-hour zone that we're going into right now. So what we should be doing is looking on the lower time frame for some type of a confirmation and then some type of a reversal pattern. Okay. Now the spike on this one is, let's see here. You're only talking about 34, or I guess right about now it's about a 40 pip strike, strike to the downside. One of those ones. It's a move, but I don't know if it's the best move. Like I said, I feel like a lot of this spike was actually probably stifled by again, the fact that there is a group of sellers there. I feel like if that was not there, it would have been a bit more of a runner, and that's kind of the one thing that's a little bit difficult, right? I mean, news can send it that direction, but if there are sellers there, there are sellers there. So that's kind of the one little piece that is putting a little bit of a crimp on this. Need to be a little bit about, right? For the most part. But again, we could be looking on the lower time frames as well, looking for some type of reversal. And again, your profit target on this one would be obviously, back down to the start of the move into this area here. Okay. Obviously not there yet. Let's drop it down. I'll drop that on 5-minute. Yeah, you're not seeing any type of reversal yet. It's just doing its normal pullbacks. Okay. And kind of driving through the zone. So we'll kind of keep an eye on this one. We can actually adjust this to there on the 5-minute just to make sure we're getting it a little bit ahead of time. But like I said, if there was not the zone up top, I think this would have been a bit more of a runner for some type of kind of reversal play. Okay, so it's doing what it's supposed to be doing now, but we'll see. All right, I'm bringing that back to 30 minutes. All right, dropping across to Aussie, New Zealand. Okay, now same situation here. Again, same spike. This is based off of a daily zone. Okay, the move in this one was what? About the same thing, about 40 pips, right? Now, again, this is definitely not a Nadex-based pair, so again, this is a pure spot currency play. But same situation, right? We had basing, we actually drove down right before the news, you can see right below here, and then boom, shot off, and again, now we're doing our basing. Same situation, again, this one though has been a little bit more clean with bouncing back and forth. You can see we just missed kind of the bottom piece down here that kicked in last night. Kicked in last night. But you can see all the way down, all the way back up, and kind of we were about halfway, through it. And again, you can see the spike up, the spike down, the retracement off this first piece this morning, and then boom, this pop back up again. So I would say we're in a similar situation. Definitely bearish in this position. Need some type of a confirmation. Be cautious though. This is a spot currency play only. Okay, cannot play this one in Nadex, so you do have to take a bit more, a little bit more risk on this one. It's not, it's going to be it's not going to be a predefined risk level. Okay, it's going to be a stop loss. That's what you're going to have to use in this one. Okay, and look, you're already starting to see a little bit more red on this one than you did with the prior one.
yeah, you're already starting to see this one kind of turn and flip. Okay. So again, definitely a potential short here if we start to kind of break below this low. We're not quite there yet, but we're real close. Okay. And again, profit target on this one, probably in that range. Oh, it's not straight. I hate when it does that. There we go. Close enough. All right. Bring this back up to 30 so it resets. And then looking at Aussie dollar. Okay. Aussie dollar, similar move. Okay. This one, though, did not have as much space up top. Okay. There was a couple different things. We had this little defined piece here. We had this single wick here. This was really just not wonderful as well. But same type of play, right? Based, boom, launched, and now we're already starting to see a flip on this one. It looks like this was the magical zone here. It didn't quite make it to that one. It got really, really close. Okay. So it got close to this one, right, as an area. Okay, but it looks like it was this little one down here, which that one has actually been hit before, just briefly, but you know, that looks it's looking like that's where the flip is going to end up actually occurring. So again, similar setup. I actually like the way the chart is drawn on the other two better than this one. I don't think this one is actually even as far of a runner. Let me see. Yeah, this one's only about a 35 pip runner, so it's not even quite as far. I think I like the other two better than I like this one. Okay, but again, standard kind of gap to the top. Again, it pulled itself down again. This is actually one you probably could have taken beforehand and been okay with it. All right, looking at pound Aussie. Now pound Aussie again, obviously opposite reaction. You can see that today was kind of an up and down type day. Again, bit of a drop, but again, is it a huge play? No, not really. I mean, because this is obviously Aussie strength, but again, we've had pound strength all day, so um, you know. Strong plus strong does not wipe each other out. Strong plus strong typically eats a smaller size move. And even though this pair moves a bit more, right? You're talking about what? About 70 pips in that one total, right? And again, if it was, the opposite, if it was a weakness play, then it definitely would have been a lot more than that. Okay. If we spread it out to there, you guys can see it. Now, the analysis on this one is definitely a little bit sloppier, right? Spent a lot of time here, but you had top and bottom, really not a whole lot. Descending wicks is good, but then you also had descending here, and then this one is way down here. Okay, so again, this is kind of all over the place. Like I said, not as easy of a trade to set up. I think the other Aussie pairs were probably a bit easier. But again, you did see a little bit of a rise. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, you can't even see it here. It's just so flat. This thing basically just flatline and kind of pulled right up into this little bit of a zone. So nothing on this one was like, yep, ooh, that was it, But again, not surprised at the number. Looking at euro pound. So euro pound is basically the only pair that the euro is kind of taking it on the chops today. And interestingly enough, right, this thing has come down and we're more or less in the same position, right? So price is right here. Here's the 19 candle, right? And here's the 19 candle from yesterday. This little, the first, this kind of the second green. So we're basically in the same exact spot. Had a nice little pop up, right? Again, we did have some, euro strength today. Again, that kind of grabbed this wick over wick at the start, this large extended range body. That's what it grabbed onto. Okay, so it grabbed onto that. Okay, and again, you can see it's a little easier to see down here. See what it grabbed onto? Okay, this level of basing. So if we take this and we shorten this up a bit, you could probably go on probably that level right in there, right? Maybe not that level. Maybe there. It's probably where we would have taken it off of this one. You could take this little one, but the body and the wick are so tiny. I think that's just, could you take it off of just this? Yeah, you could have. I mean, that's technically what this came off of. You could have taken it. Again, it would have changed the outcome of the trade. It would have worked either way, but I'm trying to think, to be realistic, probably a bit more down here is what you would have grabbed. Okay. Again, that was the kind of the front run of this large burst to the downside. Okay. Now, again, what did it do? It went off this kind of daily level that we found, right? 4 hour, it bounced, it came back up again, and then it sucked, kind of sucked right into that same area. So we're actually sitting in a demand zone right now, okay, which makes this trade a little bit interesting. Really, I mean, again, we didn't really get the white space we would like to have gotten, at least on the 30-minute. I mean, a little bit here, but it didn't really kind of clear the area and give us any kind of room to breathe. So there's not really quite a short in there yet. but I do think it's coming. I definitely am more bearish this pair. The fact that it did finally, try to make some type of rally up, hit this zone, and then literally just, even with news, all it did was spike to the top of it to clear it and then drop right back down again. And now it's not doing anything. It's been unable to really kind of break below these descending candles. You have one here, then a lower one, then a lower one, then a lower one. I like this area. Okay. So I think this one is 10. I'm going to have to say I'm still bearish on this one. And again, this is that little base area right here that we talked about. You guys can see it right there. Okay. I honestly think we could start going down to test these 85s here. Okay. Especially if we finally get some type of Brexit confirmation. And like I said, they could do it at the last minute. And I still think we can get a burst to the downside on this one. Okay. So just be cautious with this. All right. Looking at your yen. So on the scanner, your yen is obviously giving us, I just want to make sure this one matched up because this was a pretty easy one. Sideways up confirmed, right? Again, what are we looking for? We're looking for some type of a pullback, some type of a red mark. Again, interesting that the pound is moving straight up, but now in this case, the euro is also strengthening. So everybody is liking the idea of Brexit. Get the pound out. It'd be good for the euro. It'd be good for the pound. Everybody's happy, right? Well, we're getting up into this kind of area that we talked about last night. Okay, we did drive a little higher. Again, here's the 19 candle. And if we go back, the 19 candle is right here. Right here. That's where we started last night. So it did go down slightly and then kind of went back up again. I mean, I would say really besides this one new spike this morning at 10, really didn't do much, right? It just rode this line, kind of came down a little bit, then spiked, and then kind of just rode this line and, just ground a little bit, but not really a whole lot of clean movement. We're really looking for this to come back up here. And if you guys remember from last night, we're looking for this to break the, what is it? The 120.83. 83.6, but 123.84ish range is where we're really looking to with this top section, right? This one I thought we removed last night. Let's see. Yeah, that one's nothing. It's kind of just falling in a dead space there. All right, so we're still holding this one. We're looking for these two lines up top. And again, that's where we're going to start looking for some type of a short piece in this one, okay? Again, the zone is up at the 120.90ish range, but we had that alert kind of set in there, this purple line below the green. All right, this is where we're looking for. Take the short. Now, euro dollar. Come on, you can load. Okay, same thing. Big spike up today, right? Okay, in the last 24 hours, the euro is up technically 53 pips, right? Again, a lot of basing. We did go down and grab this little tiny zone down in this area, but at this point, all we did is we're just going sideways, right? We're here right now. Here's the 19. Looking back, the 19 candle is right here, okay? Did, go up, went down, kind of popped over, and again, up 53 on the day, okay? Are we up into the clean area? No, we're not, okay? We're still waiting for this to get up towards this gold range. That's a trigger for us to start looking because we have a wick over wick and a larger sell zone. Right now, we're kind of stuck in this kind of wick spike up, and it's actually reacting off of this wick over wick here. So there are some sellers where we are. Question is, this wick right here, if I put this on the very top, you can see we're in the top 20, top 30% of this wick over wick. So it was actually pierced very deeply into the zone. Question is, are we going to hold from that area? Nothing right now is telling me that we're going to stop. Again, we're in a little bit of a pausing area right now. Looking into tomorrow morning, again, is there, there's not really any type of European news in there, but there is U.S. news tomorrow morning with, manufacturing, industrial production, oil, so again, we do have some things that could move this around tomorrow morning. And like I said, any of those numbers look weak, that's going to give this the pop that we need to get us up into kind of a better sell zone from where we are right now, okay? We're close. We're just not quite there yet in this one, okay? So we need a little bit more movement, all right? And that's what I'm looking for to the top side. Looking at Euro Aussie, again, Euro Aussie is going to be affected a little bit right now from that bounce. We just had a little bit of a pop from news. And you can see that's what it's doing. And what did it do? It popped right back down into a level of basing, and you're starting to see some green. Now, this green, again, this is a little wicky, right? You guys are seeing this one. Pulled up, went lower, pulled up, went lower, and then boom, it started to burst through. It actually has now broken 2 levels, so it looks like it's starting to do the retracement on this one. This one actually didn't have a bad move. This was about 70 pips to the downside, okay? And again, of these two, I think the pound Aussie is a little bit more volatile. This is a little bit better one because, again, I just like the stability of this a bit more. And again, it looks very similar to the other two as well in the fact that we did spike up and we did hit a zone. So you could have actually talked about, we talked about this last night. Remember this trigger right here? Again, black line with the red above it. There was your spike up, and that spike happened, what, this morning, right? There's your kind of piece right here. Yeah, Wednesday at about 10 o'clock this morning, it went up. So again, this is something that you could have had triggered for the day and kind of rallied this thing all the way back down. Again, this is actually a pretty bad. Okay. What did price do right before the news release? 5 minutes before, it pushed right up inside of a zone that we. The other ones have probably already started. They're kind of on. And again, this is not a Natix-based pair, so it's not like you can play a 2-hour or anything like this. You have to play this purely in spot currency. But we've moved a little bit too far at this point. It's a little bit too late to enter this trade now. You're already 30 pips into the retracement. Okay. Looking at pound dollar. Okay. Or pound yen. I'm sorry, not pound dollar. Pound yen. Still, this is kind of the area that we're looking at. That away. So you can see where price is right now, right? We get a little level of basing, okay? So this is kind of the next level that we need to be able to overcome on the daily. And again, it's not a bad zone. There's a little bit more of a pop in here, sideways, kind of spike up and then kind of spike down again. It's not as clean as something like this level here, but again, there was a couple days of indecision, pop and down. So let's go back. Let's actually right here, analyze that little pop. Okay. All right, so not really the best of zones. $70 pips. That's a big zone. Big zone. So that's what we're looking for right here is potential sell area. Now again, am I going to take 70 pip risk? No. Definitely not going to be taking a 70 pip risk. But again, this is an area that we could be looking at. Audio's gone? Oh. Maybe I wasn't talking. No, you shouldn't have lost audio. Audio is low. Maybe just move it. It's cutting out. It was in yeah. It was in thinking mode. It could have been. Maybe. Maybe I was just thinking super hard. No. No, I don't know. Now it's good? Okay, good. All right, so basically what I'm saying is, although that's a huge zone, it's about a 70 pip zone. Definitely not taking that, but we've been able to lower the risk. And if price kind of bounces into that area, at least it gives us an area where we can start looking for some type of a flip or some type of confirmation to the downside. See if we can find something on the lower time frame, maybe like a 30-minute or maybe even lower than that. That's what I'm saying. What? What are you talking about? Window? What? Windows user. Yeah. All I gotta say is this is a Windows PC with a Windows operating system. It is not a Mac with a Windows operating system, because those don't exist. All right.
spam, Vanessa. I know, right? She gets in here for a few days and she's already starting to, talk back. It's amazing, right? It's those Mac users, I swear. Yeah. Burn. I know. It's so funny. Hey, there's a time and a place for Macs. It's just not with trading or anything professional. Get the beer out. Vic! There you are, Vic. Where were you last night? I was like, man, where's Vic tonight? Yeah, happy Mac use. Vic, where were you last night, buddy? I even called you out by name. I'm like, I don't see Vic tonight. I wonder where Vic is. I had a feeling you were going to win last night, Vic, and then all of a sudden you didn't come, and James won for a second time. And the crowd went wild, and James started posting pictures of, him as his ideal, his ideal dad bod dancing, working late. Okay. All right, if you're working late, I guess I could excuse it. It's all good. But again, guys, looking for this area, 141.01 to 141.66. Just be cautious of that area. That's the last time. Again, that was a 4-hour, 3-hour, 2-hour, 1-hour analysis. The zone is big. Okay, the zone is big. All right, and you can see on the 30-minute here, what has this one done? Not too much, right? But again, tomorrow morning or with Brexit, expect this thing to expand in any direction. Okay. Now, as I mentioned before, again, we're looking at large areas. Okay, so that's kind of up in this range here. Next kind of area is going to be really up in here, right? This level of basing. Okay, I'll just basing is smaller. Well, it's about 60 pips, still quite large, but again, that's on a daily. That's the last time we had some true easy to see basing, right? If we kind of stretch this out, you guys can see it, right? Strong movement down, basing, strong movement back out of the same area. Okay, and again, I could probably make this a bit smaller. I could probably move it to there. Okay, but I was trying to incorporate this to the downs. Again, incorporate the actual kind of the true pullback, right? True pullback was coming down to the green. That's the level. If there is some type of deal, again, a type of Brexit, don't be surprised if we come up and even go past or test this one. Okay. So remember, Brexit different is that Brexit is a huge fundamental change in the way that things are being done, right? It's not just a data figure that, again, needs to have a slight adjustment into the market. Okay. It is a fundamental change. I'm looking at the settings and it's showing that I'm talking. There, I can hear myself again even when I unmuted this computer. Oh, audio is going again. I don't know. All right, so audio is working. It shows me that it's working. If it's not working, Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? I'm actually testing that the parabolic indicator right now. I forgot to turn it on this morning, but it's actually up and running right now, and see if it works with alerts. See, I think, and you guys are like, what? Yeah. Automatically assuming that it's silent, so it's not sending. And my voice is a little bit deep. In the air right now, and again, it's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. Its pullbacks have been pretty nice, right? Level basing here. This was a bit more of a pullback. Punch forward again, grab the orders right here, and then punched higher again. So again, looking where this one could stop. Right now, there's really not a whole lot right in front of it. We do have a level of basing sitting up here, though, right? But again, is it the strongest area? It's not bad. I mean, the drop into it isn't horrible. It had 4 candles of basing and then at least 4 candles out of it, so not bad. Is it the cleanest area? It's not bad. I mean, I'd rate it probably like a B, B minus. Okay, and that's sitting about, let's see, it's about 150 pips from where we are right now. So it is about another ATR worth, a daily ATR worth of movement to the top side.
It's a little bit high, but again, it could definitely do that before we're really seeing too much momentum here. Again, it looks very similar in the 30 minutes of what the pound yen did. It moved, and then really for the last like 6 8 hours, really since what 1 o'clock this afternoon, it hasn't moved. It's gone flat. It just stayed in the same exact area. Now, everything on the scanner has given us the uptrend setup situation, and again, kind of obvious why. Again, we're green here, so it's not showing it on IG's platform. Again, it is based off of Oanda's data, and Oanda's data is slightly different. But again, it's still giving us the uptrend setup. All right. And again, if you guys are reading the forum, you guys will know why the data between IG and Oanda is slightly different, and also TradingView. Okay, Ryan actually posted it the other day in there. If you guys were not familiar with it, like I said, I don't look at TradingView at all, but I know some of you guys are on TradingView. Okay, but Ryan actually saw that one, and it's actually inside of the forums. So if you guys aren't reading the forums, look for Ryan's post; they'll explain it. All right, so same situation. This one I'm not really touching it right now. Again, you are seeing it pull back, right? In the last really 4 hours, you're seeing it pull back on the daily. It doesn't appear that way, but again, off the 4 hours, we are seeing a bit of a pullback. So with that being said, is it a really big pullback? Not so much. And is it pulling back into any zones that are really great right now? Not really. I mean, the first zone below it is down here, and look at this wick. This wick came all the way down to grab this kind of zone here. So this zone I don't mind, right? That's not a bad zone. Again, we have those descending wicks, but besides that, I don't really have too much until we get down to that zone. So we're kind of smack 50-50 right in the middle between this upward supply zone, bottom demand zone. So not really much for me on this pair right now. I'm kind of looking at other things at the moment. All right. Now, Pound New Zealand, I think Pound New Zealand is a bit crazy right now. The way that this one can move, I think the risk is pretty high, right? Again, this one is doing the same thing. It is doing its pullback. You can see over the last 12 hours, it had a little bit of a spike. So again, the candle is still green. Again, a lot of this has to do with when they're closing. But you can see this thing right now is on a what? You guys see it? 1200? 1200 to the top side. Okay, so this thing is literally on fire. Okay, so just be cautious with this one. Looking at this, let's see. So this is where price is right now. Okay, we are actually up inside of where this thing gapped to last time, or last time we had like a major gap, right? Back in October 7th. That's the last time the price has been up in this range. And it came down, it retested, and then kind of started the whole down run. So if anything, you are in a bit of a selling zone. Let's see if we can go back. No. So here is where current price is now. Current prices are here. Yeah. So I'll mark this one off. There's the top, and there's kind of the start of it, right? That's what we just ran into. So if anything in this one, definitely a bit more bearish, right? We did just bounce off of a daily zone. It is a clean zone. It is a zone that price absolutely shot out of last time. Huge candle, gigantic mover to the downside. Unfortunately, here's the problem with this one. If Brexit gets passed tomorrow, which again, they're saying that this deadline is right there, as much as the news has been moving over the last week because they're getting close to a deal, even though, it's conflicting the whole time. If they do hit a deal tomorrow, I think this one may be a bit risky. Okay, like I said, this pair can absolutely move and go crazy. Worst thing I want you to do is get short this position, rely on a stop loss, and have this sucker, Brexit happen and it gap passed. I think the risk is just a little bit too high where we are right now in the current environment. So, I'm not really worried about that. I mean, it's a drop-based drop, but that's just what this is. It's the same thing on the daily. Here, you want me to go to it so you guys can see it? Yeah, same thing. Actually, you'd have to go lower. Yeah, you'd have to go lower if you're using this as a weekly. And actually, I like the top one better. I like the one on the top on the weekly better than this one. But yeah, I'll just use it on the daily. So that's my only concern, right? Is if you guys take this one. Again, that's just my own risk level. If you guys are totally fine with the risk, go ahead and take it. It's all you guys. Remember, all trading decisions you make are your responsibility, not mine. I'm just giving you my analysis on there. And again, this pair with the ability this one has to move, and yes, it is pulling back right now. It is a demand zone, but Brexit is a little bit different. And that's the one thing that I'm scared of. If Brexit hits this one, this is going to jump 250 pips straight up in the air. And I don't want anybody's account to go pop because of this one. Like I said, I am definitely a risky person, but I'm a bit risk averse on this one just because of the situation that we're in right now. You know, Ernest is like, I'm not touching this one. Good, Ernest, because that's who I was talking to. I was talking to you, buddy. Because I think you're the only one that's ready to, that messes with this one. Yeah, it's just too volatile right now. I think there are better opportunities you can take that are safer right now. And again, just with the current environment, I just very hesitant to talk about shorting this one anytime soon. Okay. Now, if it turns around and goes all the way back down again, like 900 pips, I'm gonna be like, yep, should have just followed the system. But you guys have seen every day that this thing gets kind of pushed back, and like I said, it's been a lot of pound strength, and yeah, Brexit is big. All right, go to New Zealand. So last night we had that New Zealand trade set up. Again, we had it was very quick. I think it was like a 25 pip or 28 or 27 pip move or something like that. It was a 6 pip risk for price is done. I mean, again, you guys can see how much farther it went. It ended up dropping. So it actually went double and actually went all the way down and actually basically went down to here, right? If there was our profit target, again, the start of the kind of bottom piece of the move, you can see what it bounced off of, right? It literally hit the target all the way at the bottom and then pulled all the way right back up again. So it's back up in the same zone again, kind of where we saw the basing level before the pop, right? Here's the area. I'll mark it off. Here was the kind of before the news, and look where we're at right now. I'm gonna change this. I don't think you guys were selling from here, but we'll change the purple, right? Here was before the news. It popped up, hit, came all the way back down again. That took our profit, kind of went down. And again, could you have taken a momentum breakout to the downside? Yeah, absolutely. You got some space here. Again, if this is a 10 minutes, so here, let me bring this back down to 30. Okay. But had you done it, right? Here. Let's see. Okay. Space underneath. White space underneath. Risk level on this one. 7 pips. Sure you at least had 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which would have been here. Okay, which is also, again, right to the start of this piece. So there's your 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, and then end up going back down. So definitely some, actually, let me put this right there. There you go. It's the start of the other one. So again, 7, another 3-to-1. So you could take this one twice. Okay. There you go. Okay. So not only was it a news breakout, but it was also a parabolic. So parabolic first, and then momentum breakout to the downside. 2 separate trades. Your risk is on there. I got my retrace yesterday. I'm with this one until December, maybe. Yeah. I don't think it's going to show on the 30 though. Nope. I wish it did, but again, you can see it. It kind of came back up and retested either way. All right. It's just a bit. You wouldn't have. If I had done this on the 30, you would have to take more risk on it, obviously. But you guys can see we had the white space, we had the continuation, it pushed all the way back down again, and again went over to the clean area. So you guys are able to see this when you guys get it. Where we are now, we've sucked right back up into it. Again, tag this bottom side. Again, you guys can see the ascending wicks on the daily. Great area of buyers. Kind of bounced. It's looking for more orders up top to be able to grab. This kind of clearing wick to the top side wiped out these 2 zones, which this was a nice zone. I actually really like this zone right here. It ended up getting kind of blown out to the top and not going all the way back up again. So, we have to assume that price is going to be able to kind of rally its way all the way back up again. So just marking this thing off on the 4-hour, I'd be marking off probably this gap and then kind of sideways bit right there and be looking for some type of a short in that area, right? And then again, downside, probably still holding to this blue level. Something along the lines of kind of like this, right? That's probably fine. I mean, it's just a rough drawing right now, but from there to there. Okay. So you're looking at, this is basically the bottom side. something along those lines. Again, we're at the 50% mark, so I'm not going to play with this one. Like I said, the news on this one, again, you guys know I don't deal with New Zealand too often. Again, here was your spike last night, came through, and again, if you wanted to use that same zone, I'll drop in a lower time frame. It did break below, retest, gave us a momentum breakout entry, and then collapsed back down again. So you better see that here if you guys want it for your reference. Okay. Just can use that for your reference if you guys like. Extend it across so it's a little easier for you guys to see. All right, so screenshot that one if you want. Go to a dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss, let's see. Dollar Swiss is down about 50 today. Most of that movement, it looks like, was early on today. Again, probably U.S. news based. Yeah, you can see it. That's what started off for the day. Okay. Again, boom, boom, boom. 12 hours of basically down. Okay. Not, again, only 50 pips. Not like it was gigantic. Not like it was huge. But again, pretty much sideways the last couple of days. It finally has left the area. It's good. It's nice that it is going back down to kind of this range, right? We talked about finally clearing the top, breaking above the dotted lines. We had kind of this as again, kind of a magnet, right? Kind of bounce, 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 went under, kind of popped over, came back up, based again, bounce, 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 up, over, hit it again, came back up, based on it again, and then dropped finally. So whatever orders were left inside of this green dotted line are pretty much eaten up right now, although we're going to leave it there because it definitely is acting like it is a magnet, right? Yeah, I think you might have some shortages going between your mic and the message getting broadcast through video. Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. I'm afraid to unplug it and plug it back in. But I will say this, the baby is in the other room kind of making lots of noise. So the microphone may be hearing her and kind of thinking that it's distant sound too. Don't know. Can you hear the birds? Maybe it could be the birds canceling it out too. The birds are quite loud tonight. But anyway, on this pair, right? There's your downside that I'm looking for right now. Okay, I'm waiting for price to hit 99.15, and then I'm looking for potential longs again. It's shown us that, again, that is an area where we've seen bounces before, so we will be looking to take that, okay, if it approaches again. I could be. I don't know. Well, but when I drink, I do walk away. Not walk away, but I do move the microphone away, so maybe that's what it is. Could be. I don't know. I do have a lot of stuff open right now, though. That could also be it. Here, hold on. Shut something down. You still have your astronaut headset? Heck yeah! I love my astronaut headset. The baby's unhappy again. All right, so that's what we're looking for. Swiss. Let's go over to dollar CAD. Again, dollar CAD was kind of uneventful today, but we do have oil tomorrow, so we'll see. Yeah, like I have a big Yeti mic that I can use too. I just don't like doing it. I just prefer the little microphone on this one. So here's where we are, dollar CAD. Basically the same place we were last night, right? We talked about price here, right? 19 candle. Looking back, the 19 candle is right here. So we're in the exact same place. We did have a bit of a spike, right? You guys can see over here on the 30-minute. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Here's your spike right here that happened at 8:30 this morning with news. Price came across, it grabbed the top of the move and shot straight back down to the zone. Okay, so there was your trade this morning. If you were to take this, excuse me. All right, still have your astronaut headset. So there was your trade setup from this morning. Right now, again, we are still flirting with this kind of bottom level area here. Don't know that I really do much with it right now. Like I said, I've been still looking for a break. Like I said, price had rallied back away from it and came up to touch this level. Again, that happened at 9 o'clock this morning. But again, price with it rallying back down again, we're still in the same buying area. We're still in that same kind of red zone at the bottom. You guys can see when we marked off, kind of this wick over wick, we drew it on the 4-hour. It's still there, okay? So we haven't left the area. We have lower highs being put in. We know that there are buyers in there. This is kind of another failed kind of attempt here. We have descending wicks down. So, I mean, really, we're talking about playing right now between, I'll give it a little bit of room, but only about 35 pips, right? 35 pips top to bottom. So not really interested in playing just 35 on this one. I'm looking for a break below. I think a break below is going to be kind of what's called for. Again, dollar, dollar has news tomorrow. We have bad news with the dollar. That could definitely be the catalyst that breaks this thing one way or the other. If it's good U.S. news, again, that could give us some strength tomorrow. But I think with bad U.S. news, again, that could be all we need to really kind of push this to the downside. All right, give us some, bad U.S. news will give us CAD strength. CAD strength will break us through, and then look for a retest of this zone. And again, do our, where is it? Do one of these, right? Here down, there up, and there down. Okay, look for something like that. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking for tomorrow with news, if we can get a kind of a large spike to the downside. All right, looking at dollar yen. Dollar yen was a complete snooze fest today. You have some up, you have some down, but it's only moved 10 pips in 24 hours. Okay, and here's the 30-minute. You guys can see, what did it do today? Not much, right? I mean, here's the 19 candle here, and we go back, and the 19 candle is right here. Okay, so here is 21.31 or 21.30, and the 21.30 is right there. So not a lot today. You're not really trading too much top to bottom this thing. Even if we take the extremes from top to bottom, you're talking about 15 pips. 17 pips, sorry. 17 pips top to bottom. No setup, no trend in this one. Again, I'm still rooting for it. I want it to go a bit higher. Remember we drew the, guitar strings that James pointed out last night. If we can get up there, I'm ready, but it's just not there yet. Okay, until it gets there, it's a wait and hold, have patience type situation. Need some type of little bit of a bounce up. Maybe the news tomorrow will give us that. It'd be nice if we were going into news in that first zone. Then I'd be looking to take some type of a short position to the downside. Okay, but right now we are not. Again, there's no trend. It's just basically flat. So move on and look for other opportunities. With that being said, let's go into CAD yen, because again, we do have oil tomorrow. There we go. CAD yen kind of did what we talked about yesterday. We were hoping that we would be able to get up into this range, this upper kind of sell side here. Again, it's a daily selling zone. Okay, not a kind of a little bit larger of an area to be able to take. You're talking about 35 pips, right? But again, we've been kind of holding firm in this area, so definitely be looking for this one to go a bit short tomorrow, especially with oil news. Now again, oil's at 11, so it's not at its normal time. We'll see what the open looks like tomorrow as well for this one. But let's see, we have. I think this one will probably move around a little bit at the 8:30 time frame, because between Philly Fed and CAD manufacturing sales, I think we will see a bit of a pop in this one. So hopefully it's not too much. There's a 915 industrial production, but that's only considered a medium, although it's expected to be negative for the U.S. So that may kind of weigh down on the yen a bit. Have to check this one tomorrow morning. I mean, you're going to have to anyway. But again, at this point, I'd be looking at this saying, hey, listen, it's about time to go short on this. See, can I make the zone any smaller right now on this one? Yeah, we can make it smaller. There. Okay. All right, that gives it a little bit of a room to pop up. So we're pretty close to it. Okay, so hopefully we get a little bit of a rally. Okay. If we can get just a little bit more of a rally to the top side, I think we'll be in a good shorting position for this one tomorrow, regardless of what the oil news is. But we'll see how that one plays out. All right. All right. So with that said, let me pull up the actual oil chart itself. We'll go over to Daily FX. We'll drag this over here so you guys can see that one. Okay. We will go over and we'll just hit US crude. And there we go. All right. So let me break this bad boy out. Make it big. All right, so. All right, so the same box is still sort of a valid box, right? Okay, we still had, oops. I don't know, why, oh no, draw it, come on. There we go. I didn't want it green, but it's okay. Go. Let's fill this thing. There we go. All right, so that zone is still pretty valid, right? We're on the daily on that one, but let's drop down to a little bit lower and see if that gives us a better picture of it. Interestingly enough, it does look like we have a bit of a zone up top here. Starting at 54.43, that's not horrible on the 4 hour. Let's box it off and drop to a lower time frame and see what we can see with that, right? Because that's kind of the top upper end of this range. And again, everything to the bottom side. I mean, there's a little bit of a zone right here. We've kind of dinged off that, but I think for news, we want to kind of look to the spike a little bit lower than that. So let's drop down to an hourly. See what we got here on the hourly. I don't know. Probably gonna mark. I'm gonna mark this bottom section off here. I don't think that's a horrible section. Okay, if we can be in oil, if we can be down here between 52.50 and kind of 16-ish area when oil is released, that could definitely be a launching point for us to the top side. Um, Top side, I'm trying to think. Let's see, 54.57. It's about $1.50 move that could absolutely happen as well if we can get a spike up into that area. A lot of that's going to depend on how much we move overnight. Let's drop it down a little bit lower to a 30-minute and see if we can refine that zone at all anymore. No, I think we're going to hold firm with that top zone. I think that's a legitimate zone up there. See, this came up and grabbed this level of basing. This was formed at 9 o'clock, so that's not actually a bad zone either. Just marking off areas where we potentially, if we could be there before the news release, areas to bounce off of. Probably looking at that. Let's see. Again, we didn't hit the second time. You guys can see this is kind of like a tertiary. See that one? Probably looking at something along those lines. Like I said, there's a little bit of basing right here as well in the 30-minute, but again, that zone was formed, late in the afternoon today. Okay, right at the very end of the day, so I'm not going to take into consideration as much. But that's kind of what I'm looking for. If we can get a spike off one of those two areas, look for somewhat of a retracement. Like I said, we're close to the bottom side. Not necessarily surprised, but that's all we got. Okay. Like I said, on the 4, you can see it's pretty much chopping back and forth. Again, lower highs, higher highs, it's consolidating in. Okay, coming this way. Okay, so it's priming for another big move. Again, that bottom side's been kind of beat up a few times, but again, you're getting that 51.50. I mean, again, 50 is right here. You're getting that big, big psychological range where a lot of players are coming in. So not as clean on this one. So we'll see how it turns out. Like I said, I wouldn't actually be surprised if oil is actually it's a negative this week. Now, I will say if we do get, I don't know, let's see, what is that, 53? Not going to jump $3, but I do like the way that this is formed right here. May want to mark this off for later, right? 3 descending wicks like that straight down on the base and then a large explosion. Definitely. I don't think that's coming tomorrow, but I'm saying mark that for the future. Let's see. Thicker. Style with, there we go. So many options in here. Somewhere in that zone. Definitely looking at it in there as far as a sell point, but not there yet. Okay, again, that's what we got. All right, guys. So 10 o'clock. Again, oil not the best setup. I wouldn't be surprised actually this week. We're kind of getting, getting a little bit thick in it right now, right? Again, looking at, pulling oil across here. You guys can see they've undershot this one for the last 4 weeks in a row. If you look at it historically,
you know, it's very rare, right, that we go over 4, right? We had 4 green and then 4 red. You guys can see it kind of, going back. It's, here's a 5, but besides that, there's really not much in there. And again, here's another 5 as far as negative go. And again, we're talking about, basically 0. It was even. So yeah, it will be interesting. Like I said, we are probably due for some type of a flip. This was a big jump this time. The forecasts, they had missed. Again, they were low. It's been high. It's been about the same, and they jumped it. So we'll see going into tomorrow. I'm gonna check this one out and see where we're at. If you are gonna trade this one tomorrow at 11, make sure you're on the lower time frames. One thing about this one as well is just be careful, because normally at 10:30 that's a popular reversal time. 11 o'clock is a little bit late for a reversal time. So a lot of the news in the morning tomorrow morning will be kind of reacting to the Philly Fed and the industrial production numbers. Okay. All right. So let's see. With that, let's close down this trading view chart. Let's close this guy down. Let's go across. I will give you guys another about 30 seconds to get your tickets in. Remember, it's exclamation point ticket to be able to get in. Make sure this one is still working. James is like down. James, if you win again, I'm gonna call. All right, give you guys 10 more seconds. Make sure everybody's in. Let me do a quick look. Vanessa, you haven't done it yet. Bryan is not in. I don't see Bryan here. Vanessa, do a exclamation point ticket real quick. Can't add her. Exclamation point ticket. There we go. All right, good. Away and draw the winner. Yeah, look at that guy. I just want to go on the record. Ernest was first, right? Right there. Ernest was first. Oh, you guys can't see this. This one. Ernest was first. Just for the record. Look, right here. Right here. Ernest was first today. And he ended up pulling it off. So, James, it was Ernest again. All right. He changed strategies. Yeah, that's exactly what he did, right? He changed strategies. He was like, I'll win when I was last, and now I'm going to go first. All right. So I'm going to mark that one as complete. Nobody else can win. And I will update. Ernest is running away with that. Ernest is saving for the class. I know. And again, I should be recording tomorrow. Tomorrow and Friday, I should be recording for the new class. All right, guys. So with that being said, good luck tomorrow. I'm going to bounce. And again, any questions, go ahead and message us over in Discord, and I will answer them. If you missed anything from the microphone going out, please let me know. Did I do 250? Or did I do, I don't know. It'll tell me. I'll be able to see it. I know what you were at before. No, I didn't do 250. You're subtract a 0 from it if you want. But girls, take care. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Same time, same channel. No lacrosse this week, so I will see you then. Take care.